สวัสดีค่ะ
Welcome to Talking Thailand, Thailand from the inside out and outside in with me, Grace Robinson.
Eugenie Meriot-Jenny.
And I'm Su Xing-Chin.
And as you can see today, it's all girls, so we've got a few female subjects for you.
Yeah, we got rid of all the boys.
Yeah,
but before we get into the topics that we have prepared, don't forget to go to our Facebook page. You can search for Talking Space Thailand on Facebook. If you use Twitter, mention us at @Talking Thailand. Also, don't forget to use the hashtags Talking Thailand and bring your own mug. And we have brought our own mugs. But we have gone through our mugs already. My Tetris mug and your Smart Voice mug.
I'm running out of mugs.
Oh, okay.
But Jenny,
I have a new mug. I have like many mugs and I will change each time. So this mug is actually a mug with a message. It's the face of Somyot Pruksa Kasem Suk. And it's written, I have lost my freedom, but I will never lose my humanity. So Somyot has been in jail now for 3 years. It was the anniversary of Somyot's imprisonment on the 30th of April. He was arrested in 2011 for being the editor of a magazine in which 2 articles were written that were deemed to be an insult against the monarchy. So he was not the one who wrote it, who wrote them, but he was the editor. So anyway, he's been in jail for 3 years because he was denied bail. Even though his verdict is not yet final because he's appealing the case right now before the Supreme Court.
Yeah. So if someone wants to support the cause, where did you get the mug? So that, viewers who see the mug and would like to support the cause would go and buy it too?
So there are many movements supporting Somyot. The easiest for you is to go on Facebook and like the Free Somyot Facebook page, and then you'll have all the information.
All right. So this past week, Thailand has seen some very big impacts. The first one is the impact by the Constitutional Court. Can you tell us and the viewers what happened?
So yes, the Constitutional Court of Thailand on the 7th of May has dismissed yet another Prime Minister. The first female Prime Minister of Thailand was dismissed by 9 Constitutional Court judges. The judges read the verdict. It was very long reading. Have you listened?
Like that, very long, and all of the difficult to understand words, like maybe law vocabularies.
Yeah, and when is it going to get to the point? So anyway, Yingluck has to quit her position of caretaker prime minister, but some of the cabinet ministers still retain the position. So we don't know when the elections will take place or when the elections will take place.
And with this result, are we going to see a lot more protests on the streets?
Yeah, I think it has pushed us into a deeper political turmoil.
Yeah, what is being feared is that this decision could create a political vacuum.
Political vacuum,
How
which
do we
is
say that in
สุญญากาศทางการเมือง It's like the situation where there's no leader in the country, right?
Exactly, and that's what happened in 2006 when the Constitutional Court annulled the elections of Thaksin Shinawatra, and then there was no parliament and no government. And on 19th of September 2006, there was a coup that was successful. So it could create the same conditions, maybe.
So we're looking at another coup, you say?
Well, I'm not saying that.
Nobody knows. Well, but we have to wait and see. But I think a lot of people find this is predictable. I think it's predictable conviction of some sort. Well, let's move on to another impact in Thailand, Chiang Rai and the earthquake. I think it was the strongest earthquake Thailand has ever faced.
Was it about 6 on the Richter scale?
Yeah, so several districts of Chiang Rai just went through this country's biggest earthquake. There were many houses and buildings were damaged. Well, you see the pictures on news on the internet. You see like roads splitting in 2.
They were spread fast on social media, like pictures of broken bottles in supermarkets and quite dangerous cracks in some of the roads in the north too.
Right. There was also this one picture picture when people share this picture all over the internet or Facebook and Twitter, but then it turned out that the picture wasn't taken in Thailand. It was actually from this flooding in Philippines. So I think you really have to be careful when there's a disaster and you instantly want to be a reporter, who reports news really quickly. So you share the first thing that you see, but that can be really risky. Because I think there are some people who are looking forward for opportunity like this, to just make something up so that they get more likes and more retweets.
So don't believe everything you see.
Right.
Not just read.
Anyway, in Bangkok, we didn't feel anything at all.
You didn't, right?
Yeah, no, I
well,
didn't.
some people said that they did, but I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, in my condo, there was a poster saying that they checked the building and there had been no effects from this. But you think it's so far, how could we feel? Have you ever experienced an earthquake, either of you two?
Yeah,
in New Zealand.
Bangkok.
I have. Yeah, in New Zealand, it's a very frequent phenomenon, but people are used to it.
Right.
Yeah. For me, in England once, I was in bed and it literally felt like someone was pulling the bed.
Yeah.
It's strange.
So for foreigners in Thailand, the word earthquake in Thai would be แผ่นดินไหว which I think is taken like directly from English word, right? Earthquake, like แผ่นดินไหว And since that earthquake in Chiang Rai, there have been more than 100 aftershocks since then, with the scale of 3.0 to 5.6 on the Richter scale. And one of the aftershocks actually killed one person in Chiang Rai and injured many. So there are still warnings of more aftershocks to come. Usually you have to keep a lookout for 1 month or so after the earthquake, right? So if you want to keep yourself informed and keep yourself updated on the earthquake news, you can use this tool called Google Public Alert. If you use Google Public Alert, there are news and updates about earthquake in Thailand and also some very useful information of how you can stay safe.
Like what you should do in an earthquake.
Right.
Like do you hide under the table?
Yeah, what
or...
exactly should you do? I see that so many video clips of the moment when people felt the earthquake. All of them try to run outside the building. I didn't see anyone try to hide under the table.
Yeah.
Is that a protocol?
I think they should teach this in schools. I think you are meant to take cover, especially if you are in a building. Obviously, you need to avoid falling objects.
Well, anyway, the best system is to have like an early warning kind of system. Does Thailand have that?
I don't think so. I don't think we had any warnings before that happened.
No.
Because I remember that for tsunami, yes, they have now. Well, in Thailand, there is a pretty sophisticated system of tsunami detection.
The system was built after that tsunami.
Yeah.
Well, you
Often
can see
the case,
after
it's too late.
Yeah, always like that. วัวหายแล้วค่อยล้อมคอกวัวหายแล้วล้อมคอกนะคะ So you let something happen and then you try to find a way to protect it for so that it won't happen again. But I think one of the other interesting that we see from this case is there are so many poorly constructed buildings in Thailand. Sometimes people would want to build their own homes when they might not have the best know-how.
Is it not illegal though if you build it?
I think it is,
standards?
but I think maybe the authorities haven't paid much attention
can't
to
control
it.
everything.
And there's a problem of corruption also sometimes that in order to get commissions on a construction project, then the quality is lowered, but the price remains the same. So in the end, it's the same price, but the difference gets in the pocket of the construction builder.
Yeah.
So that's
And
a problem, I think.
Even one of the new malls in Chiang Mai, there was photos of the cracks in it. But I suppose it depends whether it's injured people or not.
Right. I heard from one of my friends and she said that she knows this guy who can build a house by himself. And then one day he went from building just a house to building a more sophisticated building, like 3-floor building, just by himself, but without any help at all. So can something like this happen? And what if we have more violent earthquake in the future? Can all the buildings in Thailand, go through that kind of...
I mean, hopefully they should put in kind of new policies where all new buildings have to fit a certain standard. But I mean, old building, I think it's quite a big project.
Well, yeah.
To control that.
All right, just... keep a lookout, stay safe, and keep yourself informed with what you need to know during the disaster. And one more topic that we have in hand is what you said is enforced disappearance, right? การบังคับให้บุคคลสูญหาย
Yeah, there was a case last week actually that was brought up to the United Nations Committee Against Torture in Geneva, in Switzerland, a case that happened in Thailand in the province of Phetchaburi.
Which is near the border of Burma, isn't it?
Yes.
This particular area.
Yes, and it's a forest area with a national park. And a Karen activist who's like an environmental activist disappeared. So what does it mean? It means he was taken to a police station for interrogation.
Well, he is known as Billy.
Yeah, he's known as Billy.
Yes.
And he never
He hasn't been seen
reappeared.
since.
Yeah.
I think, wasn't he arrested for having honeycomb and bottles of which he'd been foraging in the forest, and then I think he was let off,
go. Yeah.
and then I think he disappeared.
Well, he was let off. That's what the authorities
That's what they
says.
say.
Yeah.
So it's
Yes.
okay.
But it's not sure that he was really being released, because
Right.
that's obviously what's happening when enforced disappearances are committed. The police officer or the military officer of the officials who have taken the person into custody then say they released it, and then the whereabouts of this person are unknown. But
And this wasn't just any old activist. This man had actually lodged an official complaint against the Central Administrative Court of the Department of National Parks in this area. And because in this area, there's, I think, I don't know how many years ago, the Karen people, they were given a plot of land which they could have a village on. Are these refugees from Burma? I'm guessing they've come from Burma. They weren't born in Thailand.
Well, they have different status. Some of them are refugees,
Okay.
some of them are not. But what's interesting is that not only there was a lawsuit against the National Park Office head, but also he was convicted for masterminding the murder of another activist in the same network, in Billy's network. So that person is the alleged offender of this enforced disappearance.
That rings bells. And I think that he had filed this complaint because this forestry department had burnt about 21 Karen houses.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes, that's correct.
And was, I mean, that is must be illegal, but I think they said that these houses were built on, they were encroaching on national park territory.
That's a problem very common in Thailand, because there were laws that were enacted to protect forest, but actually without looking at if people were actually living on that land. So people, a lot of people who are on that land claim that they've been here before the law, and so that their rights to live in that land should be recognized.
Right. And as far as we know, this could be the case for Billy. I mean, the enforced disappearance could be the case, but is that possible that it might not have anything to do with this at all?
There still is no proof. I mean, he could have had an accident. We still don't know. It just
But
seems
that would be too much of
very
a coincidence,
suspicious.
right?
First, that's a coincidence.
Yeah, do we believe
A
in
huge
coincidence?
coincidence.
And that the principle of enforced disappearances as well is that there is no body to be found. So that's how perpetrators can escape from prosecution, because there's nobody to start a criminal prosecution.
Right.
This
against
isn't
other
the first
perpetrators.
time that this has happened in Thailand, when individuals have complained against authorities. So it really raises suspicions.
And then that person kind of disappeared without any trace. Let's get back to this word, enforced disappearance, or การบังคับให้บุคคลสูญหาย In Thai, we usually say like hài, or if the victim has been abducted, end up being killed, then the word would beฆ่า. So we often say this word a lot. If you go against some kind of authority or people with more power, and you cross with them, sometimes people would use the word like ถูก
Enforced disappearance, what is really terrible about this is that the relatives of the family, they don't know if the person is dead or not. So it amounts to torture. It's like they're being tortured by not knowing, which is different from like a killing, or different from a kidnapping.
And the longer it goes on, I think the harder it is for him to be given up to.
Yeah, let me tell you about a very prominent case in Thailand. It's the case of Somchai Nilapaichit. He was a human rights lawyer in the south of Thailand, so defending civilians in the southern insurgency in Thailand. And in 2004, he was taken for an interrogation by the police, and he never returned home. It was in 2004, so it's been 10 years. 10 years.
The investigation is still going on, right?
His wife
they haven't given up.
Yes, they're still appealing the case, so there's still a case pending. But so far, no prosecution was successful.
Right, you have some books you want to recommend?
Yeah, I would like to recommend, if you want to know more about enforced disappearances and especially the case of Somchai, this is a book in English, very easy to read and understandable, about the fight for justice of his widow, Ankananilai Paichit. So it's called Reading Between the Lines. I would recommend that.
Right.
Yeah.
Alright, I think we're going to take a short break and next break เราจะกลับมานะคะพร้อมกับเรื่องราวที่น่าสนใจของสิ่งที่เป็นความใฝ่ฝันของเด็กผู้หญิงหลายๆคนนะคะอาชีพการเป็นพนักงานต้อนรับบนเครื่องบินเป็นความฝันของผู้หญิงจริงหรือเปล่าค่ะ Welcome back to Talking Thailand ตอนเด็กๆเคยมีคนถามคุณเกรซกับคุณเจนนี่ไหมคะว่าโตขึ้นอยากจะเป็นอะไรอยากทำอาชีพอะไรตอบว่ายังไงกันบ้างคะ
เคยค่ะบอกว่าอยากเป็นนักแสดงแปลกไหม
อยากเป็นนักร้อง
อยากเป็นนักร้อง Really? Wow, so different from what you're doing right now. But have you ever dreamt about being a flight attendant?
ไม่เคยค่ะแต่เราเป็นที่นิยมที่เมืองไทยเนาะผู้หญิงไทยแบบมีฝันเป็น
ที่จะเป็นเพราะว่าเรามีคำศัพท์เรียกว่าเป็นนางฟ้าเนื่องจากทำงานอยู่บนท้องฟ้า but the word flight attendant I think is pretty new in Thailand in Thai when we wanted to talk about this occupation we usually said air hostess which is a word from English เป็น air นี่คือเป็นสาเหตุของการที่เราพูดถึงพนักงานต้อนรับบนเครื่องบินว่าเป็น air but what happened why did we have to change from air hostess to a flight attendant
then it can be refer to men or women so it's a bit more politically correct
so it's all about gender equality
yes because air hostess there is this idea that it has to be an attractive young woman and flight attendant or cabin crew is even more neutral is that the woman and the man are part of a flight crew of a
True, but unfortunately, the way it is still when people apply for these kind of jobs, they do still have to be attractive a lot of the time.
Yeah, most of the times.
But before that, like in the United States, the first airlines, they had all these sorts of policies about air hostess at that time. They had to be attractive, they had to be single.
Yes, and with no children.
Yes.
Yeah, and nowadays you'd never be allowed to say this officially.
No.
Because there are some legislation against it, obviously.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so recently that Thai Smile Airways, which is a business unit under Thai Airways, just launched another round of recruitment for female flight attendants. The applicants must be younger than 24 years old. And during the period of 2 days, there were more than 600 applicants applying for the job, which is a lot. And most of the applicants just finished their bachelor degree right before the recruitment. And VoiceTV reporter actually asked some of them why they would want to be a flight attendant, and their answers were typical enough. They say that the job is well paid and they get to travel around the world instead of just sitting around at their desk and typing on the keyboard all day.
What do they call well paid?
Well, I don't really know the exact numbers, but I think it is believed that you get paid a lot if you are a flight attendant, especially if you are based outside of Thailand. If you're based in the Middle East, you get paid probably more than 100,000 baht a month.
Depending on which airline you work for. I mean, I've heard if you're based in Dubai, they don't pay tax there. If they're working for Emirates or
so มันก็เลยกลายเป็นความฝันของผู้หญิงที่เรียนจบมาแล้วก็อยากจะมาเป็นพนักงานต้อนรับบนเครื่องบินหรือเป็นแอร์โฮสเตสเพราะว่าเงินดีแล้วก็บอกว่าได้ท่องเที่ยวทั่วโลกด้วย
แต่ว่าเสียสุขภาพอย่างรวดเร็วนะคะ
ใช่ค่ะ
This doesn't surprise
That's a trade-off.
This doesn't surprise me there were so many applicants because in many of my previous jobs and my current job I meet lots of female colleagues that also want to be an air hostess and you're right it really is a dream job but I would say for England definitely I think in Europe it isn't quite the same. I'd say maybe 20 years ago it might have been a very popular career for females, but nowadays that we can, like the average person can fly abroad, so it's maybe not as attractive, but I think it's
Not
quite a
exclusive.
glamorized career because some people in England we say, well, they're just like a waitress in the sky, but it's glamorized because of the travel and maybe the outfits.
They're not waitresses in the sky.
I
Otherwise,
know there will be
you
a
could tip
discussion,
them,
but-
you know.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
well,
it would be
that's
just
what
that.
people say, you know, is to sort of deconstruct
Right.
the glamorization of this
Do you know
job.
what their requirements are? They want someone who can move around quickly with a smile on their face and easy to talk to, which is different from the requirements from the mother company, Thai Airways. What they're looking for someone who can present Thainess to foreigners and who can also be gracious, who have graciousness หรือว่า gracious เป็นการมีมารยาทหรือว่าท่าทางที่ดูสง่างามใช่ไหมคะถ้าเป็น adjective ก็จะเป็นgracious ถ้าเป็นคำนามจะเป็น graciousness which is excellence of manners or social conduct. So but the point is that what is Thainess that they are supposed to be presenting to foreigners and the benefits of being a flight attendant, as the applicant said, well-paid job, getting to travel around the world. Are they real? And what are the drawbacks of being a flight attendant?
Well, first of all, they have to dress in silk, right? Which is like
It depends on
showing
each
Thainess.
airline.
Yeah, but I mean, Thai
Thainess,
Airways, for Thainess, like silk and the, how do you call that? The sabai, right? Or-
สบาย
Yes.
And they often have an orchid.
Yeah, and an
somewhere
orchid.
Yes.
มีดอกกล้วยไม้ so that's their perception of being Thai,
Yeah,
right?
that's all the symbolic of the Thainess is exhibited in like the outfit of the flight attendant in Thailand. Yes,
Yeah.
in
But
Thailand.
not just for this airline. You see that so many airlines in Thailand, they usually present all the flight attendants as a really attractive woman standing and do this wide gesture to welcome all the foreigners into the country.
Yeah.
You don't really see a man, you know, standing and wide foreigners as a standee or a banner or something like that.
Yeah, I think they're used to sell like the Thai woman as the Thai flight attendant in the past. Now laws have changed, but I think Singapore Airline is still doing it. Still using the Singapore female as the image of the airline.
Yeah. Well, and what about the benefits and the drawbacks of being a flight attendant?
I would
I
say
have never
health.
dreamt of being a flight attendant before.
I'd say one of the major drawbacks is health and on your personal life because you work very long antisocial hours, you're away from home a lot. So maybe it is good to be more single or without children or responsibilities. Maybe it's more preferable. And also I think being at that certain pressure is not very good for your skin and your body. So.
Well, I'm reading blogs of flight attendants in France, and they're not very happy with their lives.
They're
at all.
not?
First of all, they don't earn a lot of money. Then they work long hours. They work a lot. Like they have 3 days in and 2 days off. So if they fly from France to Dubai and then Dubai to France, so they do that 3 times in a row, and then they have 2 days at home. So it's a lot, and it's just for little money. So I don't know if in Thailand it's going to change and then the salary is going to be comparatively lower to other jobs. Or
Right.
not.
But let's say if they get paid well, let's say that they work for some airlines who pays them really well and they have to work for them for maybe 7 or 8 years. When you get older, you really have to quit the job. But can you go and do something else when your skill is to, provide passengers with, all the services that you can and you expect a really high salary, but you can't do the same thing on ground.
Yeah, I mean, I know one friend of mine who is an air steward and she actually works in business class and she said since she started working at Emirates, her aim was to go into business class and then into first, because if you're working in economy, I think the workload is a lot heavier. So if the air stewardesses are a very high standard, they can work their way up into the top class, which I think is a more attractive kind of role, and then eventually they may work training other air stewards. Like I know another girl, she went on to teach them how to do their makeup and dress appropriately, and I think they actually kind of like lose points or marks in the kind of career ladder if they turn up to work without their hat or looking kind of unkempt.
Well,
so
ถ้าอยากจะ
I know in France what they look at is your nails when you want to become a flight attendant you have all these tests and everything but
because when you hand the passenger food if they see something like bury under your nail they will gross out
so it's like you have all those English tests and tests about how you work in a team etc in France and then what they really look at is the color of your nails and if they're proper
มีละครเรื่องหนึ่งที่จะพูดถึงชีวิตของการเป็นพนักงานต้อนรับบนเครื่องบินซึ่งจะจริงหรือไม่จริงจะตรงหรือไม่ตรงนี่อีกเรื่องนะคะแต่ว่าเคยมีการทำละครนี้มาแล้วไม่รู้ว่าได้ดูกันหรือยังสงครามนางฟ้าค่ะ
เคยดูค่ะเคยดู
I haven't watched it
It's been aired since like 5 years or maybe 7 years ago สงครามนางฟ้า Have you watched it or have you read about it
Yeah I've watched it and I've read about it I think what's interesting in that story is that it started on Pantip website which is a forum on the internet that is so popular among Thai people and this girl she basically used it as a diary to tell about her life as a flight attendant and then it became so popular that producer contacted her to start lakon about her life and then it's a story about two women fighting for a pilot so it's very
typical
I wonder is that the dream of many air hostesses to marry a pilot or is that a stereotype
I have no idea but แต่ว่าละครเรื่องนี้ก็ได้สะท้อนออกมาให้เห็นเป็นอย่างนี้นะคะว่าความใฝ่ฝันของคนที่เป็นแอร์โฮสเตสก็คือการจะต้องได้คบกับคนที่เป็นนักบินซึ่งจริงๆแล้วมันอาจจะเป็นภาพที่สร้างกันขึ้นมาเองก็ได้แล้วก็ Well, there's a lot of slapping each other around, and in the end, they got even more creative by using this durian skin to slap each other, which I think it's something that is really like sexist, you know.
Yeah, and what is also interesting in that case is that the airline unions then they filed a lawsuit against the producers for saying that this series was actually a bad image of the airline. So we suppose it's like a big airline in Thailand. We don't know the names, but
you can guess.
And they said, that like the Thai flight attendants of this airline were supposed to be well mannered and doing the Y and everything, and they were not supposed to fight each other for a pilot and slap each other.
But it's a lakon. What can we say? What can you expect of a Thai lakon?Yeah,
no, you can't really expect much, but not just in ละคร Grace ก็มีข่าวที่อยากจะแชร์ว่ามีเรื่องที่เป็นการเหยียดเพศซึ่งเป็นรายการโทรทัศน์อยู่ในอังกฤษใช่ไหมคะ
Yes, recently a British TV presenter, Susanna Reid, I don't know if you've heard of her, she was a new host on a breakfast show in the UK and it all came out in the media after a few negative tweets and people had said, I think one of the tweets said, she was basically sat behind a big desk and it said it's like buying a Ferrari and keeping it in the garage.
So they were talking about her legs.
You can't see her whole body. And I think it's a bit demeaning for women. I mean, would we say this about a male TV presenter?I
don't know.
I think not. I think women, they're definitely, even in this day and age, I still think everyday sexism, it's all over. I mean, I experience it. It frustrates me. But I also think sometimes women still want to be treated like a lady. They want the men to pay more, to open the doors. And can we have that chivalry and have equality?Does
well,
it
the
work?
idea is to change both, that to lower expectations on things that are,
chivalrous. What the gentleman?
Yes.
Really?
And then that's a trade-off that we have to do as women, right?
Yeah.
When you're a woman and let's say you're working in the world of politics, everyone is going to ask you, so you're the assistant of which politician?
Which is very patronizing.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Or when you're working in anywhere with important people, everyone is going to think, if you're young and pretty, that you're a secretary, right?
Yeah, we usually assume. Yeah, probably. But what if you're not? And what if you are like a executive person in some really big firm and you are top executive and you make a lot of money, let's say.
Just like Sheryl Sandberg.
Yeah.Sheryl Sandberg or Marissa Mayer in Yahoo, would that be a threat to men in your life?
Well, this is another subject which has come up on Fox and Friends. They actually asked the question if the female partner in a relationship earns more, is the breadwinner, does it emasculate men? Does it make them feel less masculine? Because in traditional society, men play the role of being the leader of the family and the main provider, whereas nowadays girls are doing better in schools, they're going to college and university more. So eventually they should hopefully get, they're going to get better jobs and earn more money. So I think you will see this different dynamic in a lot of male-female relationships in the future and present, where women are earning more than men. And I mean, we talked about this with I talked about it with some of my English and
but before
Thai
we
friends.
go into their comments, you said the word breadwinner.
Yeah.
What's the meaning of breadwinner?
The breadwinner is someone that provides for their family financially. Puts the bread on the table, as they say, provides the food and
คือ
the
คนที่
living
หาข
costs.
นมปังมาตั้งไว้บนโต๊ะเพื่อให้สมาชิกคนอื่นสามารถอิ่มท้องได้ In Thailand, would the context be, if different context, would it be changed to rice winner?
It would be. It's exactly the same concept.
You can also say to bring home a bacon. It's someone who provide for the family regardless of their gender. If you bring home the bacon, if you're a breadwinner, it means that you earn more and you are the one who provides all the family members food, clothes, everything.
Yeah. So I mean, traditionally women would stay at home and take care of the home and childcare. And nowadays the women are, they're working just as much as men. So roles are changing and reversing. There's now this term, the house husband, which is a man who stays at home and looks after the children and daily tasks.
Yeah.
Well, the best is to swap, right? To do for the first kid, maybe the man is gonna stay at home, and then the second kid, and the woman is gonna stay at home.
But
too.
once you swap, you can't ask for. I know some couples who swap their roles like this, but then one day the women can't help thinking that they feel like she feels like that guy, her husband, should take better care of her. Should be the one who buy her expensive gifts or take her to expensive restaurants. So really, once you swap the roles, you have to break the pattern,
But
break
it's
your
hard
mindset.
because this is the fundamental thing in society that women, that men treat women like that. And I think it will be a long time till this changes.
Yeah.
Men are usually seen as more dominant.
Right. We asked around for comments on Facebook. Grace asked her followers, I asked mine. Well, the majority of my followers say that they're not okay with women in their life earning more than they do.
And most of them were Thai, weren't they? Whereas most people commented on my question, they were English and they seemed a bit more open to the idea. I think a lot of them actually quite liked the idea of a woman providing for them. And maybe that shows they're less insecure about the woman in their life earning more. But I don't know, maybe Asian values are more traditional at the moment still. That's why they felt uncomfortable.
I think that traditionally the fact that the man had to provide for the family was like an insurance for the man to keep the woman.
Oh,
right.
Yeah,
so it was,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a short break. เราจะไปพักกันก่อนสักครู่นะคะแล้วช่วงหน้าค่ะจะกลับมาพร้อมกับเรื่องที่ยังเกี่ยวข้องกับเรื่องนี้และรวมไปถึงการเดินทางไปดาวอังคารด้วยค่ะ
Welcome back to Talking Thailand.
Thailand from the inside out and the outside in.
ร่วมมองประเทศไทยในมุมมองที่แตกต่างระดับโลกกับพวกเราค่ะ
So I don't know if either of you two know, well, you do now, but yesterday, the 9th of May is actually called Europe Day. So it's a day when Europe celebrate the European Union and kind of community between European countries. I mean, in England, I think this is probably something that's mentioned on the day, but I don't think it's a day that English people would actually know the date of. What about you in France, Jenny?
Well, I think I started knowing the day when I came to Thailand because there was this reception at the European Union delegation.
So you weren't aware of it before?
Not that much, or I didn't pay attention to it.
Right.
Anyway.
What do you actually do on Europe Day?
I think governments or certain authorities organise kind of events and activities, like celebrating some of the achievements of the EU.
Yeah.
But it's not a public holiday day. Anyway.
No, but it's just a day to remember.
You're from England. Do you feel like a part of,
Well, this is an
Europe?
interesting subject because I would actually say that English people kind of have like a Europhobia, like I don't know if
Europhobia.
Yeah.
kind of because
How do you say that? Eurosceptic, right?
yeah, because you know we're a country which has never been colonized for nearly 1,000 years, and I think we're kind of quite proud of our nationality. I mean, we don't use the euro, and we're separated by water. And I don't know, when I refer to myself, I say I was British or English, and then sometimes I find myself referring to Europeans as a group, but not including myself. So that would be, yeah, all the other countries in Europe.
Yeah, you don't have a strong European feeling, right?
No, and also if you look at our culture and
Are you
art,
criticizing? Is that
That's fine. But
Yeah.
I mean, French and Germans, who are the ones who built Europe, have a strong European feeling because it's built on so many wars that the European Union is some sort of gift. You know, it's like.
But England also saved some of those countries in
Right.
the Second World War too. So England does play a big role in Europe's freedom today as well. So maybe without England, Europe it may be quite different.
Well, so
but-
I think maybe
but I mean-
me as a Thai citizen, I should have like more feeling of being one with ASEAN community.
yeah, do you feel like you have something in common with other Southeast Asian nations?
Yeah, I'm actually very excited and looking forward for the AEC in 2015. I think it should be something very beneficial.
So what's
Yeah.
going to happen exactly?
Well,
How is it going to affect your daily life?
I think there will be like more people coming in and more people going out. So I will be like one piece of land where people start. I think the borderline will be blurred even more. So.
It's going to be an exciting time, really.
Okay, but let's get back to the issue at hand. This one is about the project called Mars One. Have you heard of Mars One?
Yes.
You
yeah,
have?
I watched the documentary that was kind of a snapshot that was showing the people that have applied for this project.
Right. Well, it's a project that aims to get the first group of humans to settle on Mars. But the thing is that if you want to go to Mars, it's not like you going to the moon or, you know, something that you can go and then you can come back to Earth. But if you go to Mars, the technology present nowadays only gets you to go to Mars and never come back to Earth
Yeah,
again.
they haven't yet developed the technology to get them
Right.
back to Earth.
There
So-
won't be enough fuel
So the idea is to colonize Mars, right?
to colonize Mars, like
Yeah.
bit by bit.
I mean, they're talking about they're going to start growing trees up there and planting crops.
Yeah, I think each one of the astronaut will have their own space, maybe about like 50 square meters. I'm not so sure, and all of the habitants will be joined together, so you can't really go outside. What you do is on Mars, you grow crops. Maybe you do some kind of scientific experiments, and you wait for more groups of humans to come and to take over
They're going to
Mars
slowly try
eventually.
to populate it.
Yeah, the thing is that if you know that you are going to go to Mars on a one-way ticket, would you apply to go?
Well, this is such a weird concept for me. It almost feels quite suicidal. I mean, it's so
Yeah.
far away. It takes about 8 months to get there.
Right, and you don't even
that
know
they
if
can't
you're
come
going to
back.
get there.
I mean, you'll never be able to walk in a park again, go to a music concert, walk down the street. I mean, it's
Well,
such a
you
weird
don't
thing.
know. Maybe
Yeah,
what I
true.
guess
Who can see
when
the
they
future?
apply for this program, it's because they think they're gonna get there and they're gonna start
Right.
like a new humanity.
Yeah, which
there.
is
So
amazing.
it's very exciting for them.
Well, they choose to
But-
stay positive
But
about
personally,
the
I would
outcome.
never do that. I mean, there's people with children and wives. One of the guys who applied for it. I mean, how must his wife feel and his kids
Right.
if he's applied to go to Mars?
So what Greg is talking about is this documentary film called Mars One Way. I know that there are a lot of other applicants out there who are truly passionate about exploring space, and they would gladly give up their life to be able to go to Mars, knowing that they won't be able to come back. But this documentary, Mars One Way, tells the story of 5 applicants who applied to go to Mars. I mean, they haven't been selected yet because the
Yeah.
process will be carefully selected. Only 4 astronauts.
They plan to do it in 2000, is it in 10
2000
years?
Yeah, in 2024, they
yeah.
would get these 4 astronauts to Mars. But these 5 people, I feel like after watching the video clips for about like 6 or 7 minutes, I feel like the 5 of them are really depressed. they're not the kind of person who would get excited about going to Mars, but they are, well, in my words, they are losers on Earth who can't make it on Earth. Then they want some kind of fresh start.
Yeah, each one of them kind of said they have no direction
Right.
here, so that's what they're looking to go there for.
Yeah.
So I think the people that actually selects the 4 people that go, they really need to think about what sort of people they want to go up there. But I think they said they're going to do some trials where the people that get selected are going to be separated from all other humankind for like 3 months at a time to kind of like
Is
to
it the
see.
Get them
same
ready.
kind of profile that people who apply for reality shows?
Yeah.
I think it's got to be a bit more strict than that because they have
Right.
they have to do different tasks like
Yeah.
mechanical tasks and
This is also a reality show too, as Jenny said. They're not only going to Mars, but they will film everything along the way so that people on Earth can watch their lives on Mars. So it will be a reality show as well.
So how much are they gonna make with that?
I have no idea, but I'm looking forward to watch it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
the
amazing.
5 of them say that if their loved one asks them not to go, they will gladly and instantly cancel that mission. They will hop out. So, I mean, like you would imagine that people who want to give up their lives and go to Mars would be more passionate, more excited about seeing new things. But from this documentary, they're not.
Well, you've also got to remember the people that apply to go there and knowing that they're cancelling out everything on Earth. So it's kind of, they've got to have some sort of detachment. Like for me, I personally would never do it. I don't want to be stuck up there with no Wi-Fi, 3 people I might not even like. I mean, come on.
I think they have internet, yeah?
I have no idea. Probably.
know. Yeah,
but
there
it
is
should be
Wi-Fi.
something really, really slow. I don't think they would have.
Or they
internet.
make a lot of money. How much are they earning from doing that?
They didn't say that.
But if they can never get back to Earth, how are they going to enjoy the money?
Money is
For the people
valueless.
they love, but most of them from the film, they don't even have someone that they love yet.
Well, I think that's
Amen.
what enables them to leave Earth because they're not really happy here. They're a bit bored. They're a bit dissatisfied with life.
Just
So
like the
that's why
ones
they
who
can
apply
leave.
for reality TV.
Yeah, just like that.
Well, they want to get famous and make money, and when they come
Yeah.
out, they're going to be a superstar, I suppose. So
For 10 minutes.
yeah.
คือสำหรับบางคนเนี่ยการที่ได้ไปดาวอังคารหรือว่าออกไปสำรวจอวกาศเนี่ยมันคือความหวังของมนุษยชาติที่จะหาพื้นที่ใหม่ที่สักวันหนึ่งถ้าหากว่าโลกเราเนี่ยไม่สามารถใช้การได้ละคือเราทำมันพังหมดละเราจะมีพื้นที่ใหม่ที่มนุษย์สามารถย้ายไปได้ แต่ว่าสำหรับ5คนที่อยู่ในภาพยนตร์เรื่องนี้เนี่ยมันเป็นความหวังในอีกแบบหนึ่งคือไม่ได้มองในภาพรวมขนาดนั้นแต่เขามองว่าเขาอยากจะไปเริ่มต้นชีวิตใหม่ที่ดาวอังคารแล้วก็หวังว่าชีวิตใหม่เขาเนี่ยจะดีกว่าชีวิตที่เขามีบนโลก which they're not representatives of all the 200,000 applicants applying to this project but just a really small picture to get you to see that there are many kinds of people who would take up the opportunity to go to Mars ก็สำหรับใครที่อยากจะไปชมสารคดีเรื่องนี้เต็มๆนะคะสามารถไปเซิร์ชได้ที่ Mars One Way ค่ะแล้วก็ลองไปดูได้ว่าคนที่เขาสมัครที่จะไปดาวอังคารเนี่ยเขามีความคิดยังไงกันบ้างนะคะ let's get to another topic ตอนนี้มีหน้าเพจ Facebook หน้าเพจหนึ่งที่มาแรงมากแล้วก็มีคอนเซปต์ที่แตกต่างไม่เหมือนใคร which is BTS cute guys
Yeah, I've seen this. One of my friends introduced me to like it.
Yeah,
So
I've seen
this
it
is
too.
the Facebook
Have
page.
you liked it?
Yeah, I think I did. But I didn't
BTS
see that
cute
many
guys.
cute guys. But I've actually been on the BTS scouting, so I can upload my own picture.
Well, but you look at that in the corner. There are more than 100,000 followers for this page. There are so many people who would want to see cute guys on BTS. What's happening with that?
It's quite a fun thing. I
The
think,
cutest guys in Bangkok actually all take the BTS, yeah?
Really?
But, yeah.
You noticed
They don't
that
drive
living
a
in Thailand?
Mercedes.
So the concept of this page is whenever you get on a BTS and you see cute guys, it doesn't matter if they're Thai or they're foreigners, you can snap a picture of them and then post them on Facebook. So the admin of the Facebook who looks over the Facebook page will randomly select the best pictures and then post it so that the rest of the followers will get to see that cute guy.
Do you think these guys like to be on the website? I mean, are they proud to be on it,
I
or are
don't
they
know if they
embarrassed?
have any idea. Is this a right violation?
I was going to
Jenny?
say, is it violating their privacy?
I don't know, but what would be good is to actually, when you see a cute guy on BTS, take a picture of him, and then you can try to contact him via
Or you
this
walk
page.
walk over to them and then you ask them for their
No, like
permission?
for instance, in France, in the subway,
Yeah.
you have this service, free newspapers on the subway, and whenever you see someone you like, then
Yeah.
you can write to the newspaper and saying, this guy was sitting on this line of the subway at this time, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I liked him.
Wow,
But
that's
then
really
he got off at this station, so please, if you're this guy, contact me at this number. And I think it works for some people.
Yeah. Would there be any
cute.
picture of the guy?
Well, no, there are no pictures, but I mean, that's maybe something that's going to happen in the future. I don't know.
Oh, this
I
is
don't
cute.
think they'd be allowed to do that, would they?
Well, that would be great if on this page they could do it like...
Someone did the same thing that, like Jenny said, in Thailand. They posted this this message on pantip.com and saying that this guy went to a movie theater and he was sitting next to a girl who he really liked, but he didn't have the nerves to ask her out. And then when he came home and he felt like, oh, I should have asked for her name, he posted this on pantip.com and asking if anyone have any idea or if that girl wants to contact him. And I think it worked out in the end. I don't know. But let's get back to this BTS cute guys page. There is this catchy phrase used on this Facebook page which say ร่วมแบ่งปันความฟินโดย Do you know what fin means in Thai? I mean, it's not
Is it
Thai
taken
word.
from the English word finish?
Yeah, it's something like that. But when you say that you fin with
It's not
something,
good fin.
fin.
Yeah, it's not heroin.
No, not that.
Young, right?
When you say you fin with something, it means that you enjoy doing something. Like if you eat something and you like it, you say that, oh, กินแล้วฟิน. But when you say fin, you have to be careful because you can't just like go around saying that to everyone, especially your parents, because when you say fin, it has some sort of sexual meaning to it.
Connotation.
Yeah, something like
Like you
that. So
finished something.
kind of like different kind of orgasms.
Yeah.
In that case would be culinary orgasm. So yeah, teenagers in Thailand like using the word fin. So yeah, BTS cute guys, check it out if you haven't clicked like, you totally should.
So this is popular with gay communities and women too.
Yeah.
And if there was a BTS cute girls, would this be seen as sexist, or would Thai girls be okay with it?
I don't know. I would think about that right violation as well. And also, yeah, I think people would think of that as sexism.
But I think, if girls can put this up on guys,
Guys
then,
can too.
Yeah, I think it should
You
be
totally should
equal.
check this page out because if you see like all the messages posted by Thai women who snap picture of cute guys, you see that they are not the same type of girls that you would imagine Thai girls are like.
That's a good way to promote public transportation instead of using your private car. Just take the BTS. You
Take
will meet cute
BTS,
guys.
yeah.
You know?
Meet cute guys on the BTS, yeah.
Yeah, really nice idea. เราจะไปพักกันก่อนสักครู่ค่ะ แล้วก็ช่วงหน้า we'll be back with more of Talking Thailand.ต้อนรับกลับเข้าสู่รายการ Talking Thailand ค่ะ Okay, let's go over all the vocabularies that we learned today. The first one is political vacuum, which is สุญญากาศทางการเมืองจากสถานการณ์ทางการเมืองที่คุณเจนนี่ได้เล่าไว้นะคะก็คือสภาพของประเทศบ้านเมืองที่ขาดผู้นำอยู่ในภาวะที่เป็นสุญญากาศทางการเมืองค่ะAnother word is enforced disappearance, which is การบังคับบุคคลให้สูญหาย or if it's less formal form would be อุ้มหาย or in the case that the victim ends up being killed, that would be อุ้มฆ่า Another one is breadwinner, which is a vocabulary from Grace's topic today, breadwinner คนที่หาเลี้ยงครอบครัวนะคะ Doesn't matter if the wife or the husband, but as long as that person is the one who brings home food and money to...
May even be the child.
Yeah, could be the child too. Or you could say, instead of saying breadwinner, you could also say that someone who brings home the bacon, right?
Yeah.
Oh, can you say someone who brings home the rice? No, considering that we
in
live
the
in
Thai
Thailand.
context, that would work. Yeah.
Yeah, งั้นก็เป็นคำศัพท์ที่เราเรียนกันนะคะ I think we have come to the end of the show when we read all the comments from our viewers, whether on Facebook or on social or other social media. This is Talking Thailand Facebook page. If you haven't checked it out, so you should do it. We have more than 2,000 followers right now. So let's take a look at the first comment that we get. This is from Poom Pet. Hashtag Talking Thailand is football, not soccer, Ajahn Adam, because Adam said soccer a lot during the previous episode,
When
right?
he's referring to British football, so it's a bit
Yeah.
confusing for English people because
Football
they'd say
fan.
American football.
Yeah, American football, soccer. Okay, football fan here is raging now. Okay, another comment. AO Lexi เลือกสีเกิดไม่ได้เลือกชาติเกิดไม่ได้แต่เลือกเป็นคนดีได้ No matter what people say about you, it doesn't depreciate your value and your worth. What a great topic today. Okay, great comment. This is taken from Twitter. Thai politics is very complicated and dramatic. Is that true, Jenny?
Yeah.
It's very fascinating.
Yeah. Well, she chose to be positive. That's good. Okay. This is from Ajahn Adam. You notice that he is not here with us today because he went back to America to attend his sister's wedding, I guess. He said, good morning from Newport Beach, California. It's pretty chilly here. He said it's chilly out, but look at the clothes that he's wearing.
Yeah, it looks pretty warm to me.
อิจฉาหน้าอยู่มาก
อิจฉามาก
อยากไป
แล้วก็
ทะเลบ้าง
ถือมัฟอยู่ด้วยนะคะในมืออาจารย์ดำติดแฮชแท็กมาด้วยว่า BYO มัฟนะคะขนาดกลับไปเยี่ยมบ้านก็ยังไม่ละทิ้งคอนเซปต์ของการต้องมีแก้วใบโปรดอยู่ในมือค่ะ
Dedicate มาก
ค่ะ Okay need vacation this is a picture of one of our viewers who said I love Talking Thailand program and this show improved my bottom skill in English to be useful cheer up to continue the show forever ก็ได้เรียนรู้คำศัพท์ใหม่ๆแล้วก็ได้ฝึกภาษาอังกฤษจากรายการ Talking Thailand นะคะนี่เป็นแก้วใบโปรดของคุณ Need Vacation ค่ะไปดูวันต่อไปนะคะอนุสราค่ะ as if you need an excuse to stay in on a Saturday night BYO Mark is that coffee with chocolate?
That's a cappuccino.
Cappuccino.
Nice.
Okay, very nice. Wow. คุณอารินนะคะ simply but cool. This is her favorite mug, I guess. I love seeing pictures of our viewers like this. Oh, look at this mug. What does it say?
14,000 people are having sex right now, 25,000 are kissing, 50,000 are hugging, and you're reading this mug. Trust me, I'm not happy about it either. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I want a mug like that.
She said เห็นมักที่ไหนตอนนี้คิดถึงแต่รายการ Talking Thailand ค่ะ ก็ได้ดูเอพิโซดที่แล้วที่มีคุณสจวตนะคะมาพูดหลายๆภาษา ตอนนี้ก็มักก็กลายเป็นสิ่งสำคัญเป็น symbol of this show already. Do we have any more? Okay.
There we go.
All right. So if you have your favorite mug and would like to participate in our BYO mug hashtag, don't forget to go on Facebook, Talking Thailand, and on Twitter or Instagram, Google+. Just use the hashtag and we'll check it out. We'll probably show it on this television set. And we have run out of time for today. So you can catch us again next Saturday at 11 p.m. on VoiceTV 21 วันนี้ลาไปก่อนค่ะ พบกับ Talking Thailand ได้ใหม่ในครั้งหน้า สวัสดีค่ะ